Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Opportunistic Trader. It's just after 11 on January 9th, and now we're joined by Tracy Shuchart. Tracy's been joining us regularly, showing her charts and different scenarios in a lot of different markets. A lot of great information, a lot of great technical knowledge. It's always great to hear from her. Tracy, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, good. I still like, the call in December when we were trading 2630 in the S&P. You called 2450 before Christmas. That was a good one. And really, you actually continued to say that we would have a bounce back up to about 2600, which we are seeing right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So last time we kind of talked, I said, this did go further south than I thought that it would. But I was looking to, I said 2530, 25, 90 area up into this area. So really, I'm closely watching, this kind of 2590 area, 2600, topped out at 26, 29. So I'm really watching this area right now for short opportunities because we're kind of, if you look left, we're kind of in, kind of back to where everything fell apart. So I'm looking to see if we have another reject there.
And so what are you looking for next? Like, where's the level? We've December happened. It is what it is, and now we're rallying back. But where do we take it from here? We're up a few percent on the year. Where would you see some resistance, or do you see this as just a straight
Well,
move back up?
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, resistance here, basically at this 2590. I already had that marked. We talked about that last week, 2590, up to 2600. I mean, this area right here, again, if you look left, we have tails in this area. So I want to see if we go up and then reject there. And then I would be looking for at least a retest of 2500.
At least a retest of 20. Yeah, I mean, given the recent vol, we've been seeing these days 50, 80 point ranges. That's not that far away.
Right.
What about when you get these volatility moves and vols actually come in? Right now VIX is trading just above 20. We did break below 20, which still relative. 20 is a very high volatility, especially when we used to be in a
Right.
10 to
I mean,
12
that's
vol
kind of,
range.
I was going to say, like, for this move up, I mean, vol's pretty high still. I mean, this is kind of like, a vol 12 move, not like a vol 20 move.
Looking at the range
That's
actually on the day, right now we're only in a 22 point range. This would have to be one of the smallest range days that we've seen in over a month.
right so far.
Exactly. So far, you never know what's
What's going to happen?
next.
Still early.
Absolutely. And so, looking at the pattern, typically when you see a pattern like this, I know Gary Holland, who provides some longer term technical stuff for us, says, this is still a longer term pattern of a down move forming. Do you
Yeah,
get
I
the
agree
sense of
with
that
that.
as well?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I am looking for a pullback in this area, again, a rejection in this area. And I do think that do have further to go down. And I don't know what the news is going to be and I mean, where everybody's talking about trade talks but you have to think that really there's fundamentally so much more wrong with this market than like trade talks aren't going to save the day. So it could be also, when trade talks come along, it could be a matter of, buy the rumor, sell the news as well. So, looking to see how the market reacts to China trade talks, which it seems like so far it's a big nothing burger.
Yeah. That said, it's funny. I was talking with Larry about it this morning. Literally the same exact headlines, back-to-back days of, positive trade talks, this and that, and S&P was up 15, 50. Is similar sort of almost recycled news, same sort of thing with no definitive meat in the news. It was just, hey, they seem to be going okay. They are talking, sort of thing.
Exactly. I mean, there's nothing definitive. They set up, meetings for the higher ups. I mean, it's just kicking the can. You know what I mean? I mean, that's been fundamentally nothing material except for, yeah, we'll buy some soybeans from you. That's about it. Right.
Yeah.
And I think the sticking point is China needs oil and China needs soybeans. Right. But as far as everything else, the IP information and stuff like that, I mean, they're not going to give in to that, right? They'll say, yeah, we'll buy some energy products and some grains from you because that's what they need. Are they, going to give up? Or are they going to give in to every other demand? I doubt it. So
Yeah.
it depends if, Trump can either, give in to the IP and say, okay, I came away with a trade deal, which isn't really a trade deal, or he can stick to his guns and we don't have a trade deal over IP. I mean, that's kind of the way that I see it going.
Yeah. What about crude oil? What does that chart look like? We had a move, huge Q4 move down, and we traded down into the low 40s, and now we're back above 50. What does it look like
So,
technically?
so, so technically, here we go. We kind of held our levels, right? I mean, it's been. I mean, these levels have been really nice. So, we're starting to poke back up into this consolidation area. And if you look at longer term, you know, we have, these are all just consolidation areas. So we've poked up into this consolidation area. I'm looking to see if we get rejected. What, like around this 52 area? It's really where I'm looking to see if we get a rejection or not, or if this 200-day holds this or not. It's kind of the under over. If not, then I would be, looking to see if we, if Saudi says, what they're trying to do is stabilize the oil market, then I could see us come back and bounce around in this 50 to 54 area for a while. It's really, it's really going to depend. I mean, I think longer term, I agree, we could probably go back up to 60. However, given that January is a weak month and so is February, I mean, we should have had this bounce in December, but we didn't. Every time, the years that we didn't have a bounce in end of December, we get it at the beginning of January. So this bounce is, kind of expected. I was expecting it in December rather than January, but I still think that we could see a move down and then back into the a seasonal long in March. So I don't know if we're going to make a trip straight to 60. I would look to see. I'm looking for a rejection at 52 first, and then 54, and maybe a move back down, and then move up in again, starting at the seasonal ramp in March.
And how much correlation do you see driving both equities and crude together? And when would you expect to see maybe a differentiation?
I mean, I kind of touched on this before, where if you look at I don't have it right now, but if you look at the markets, we kind of got an open jaw, right? So at some point, I think we could see crude moving up with the S&P moving down. But right now, I think that like yields are kind of driving everything right now, right? So when crude bounces, tends to bounce. High yield tends to bounce the S&P. So kind of look at credit right now.
So you're really looking at credit and yields as one of your primary market indicators.
For right now, right? Just because it seems to have that correlation. And we talked about it too before I've talked about in bear markets, and not necessarily just in bear markets, but what we're finding right now are there's, people are looking at the fact that we have a lot of breakdown of correlations. And so that's why I think that, it is possible to have the crude market move up and the S&P move down. In fact, we saw this back in 2007. So it's not unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? What other asset classes? What markets? Anything you're looking at that's attractive in gold or the dollar here? Dollar's actually at the
Um,
weakest level in
yeah,
a few
I
months
mean
now.
dollar. Yeah, I mean dollar. I think as long I'm still bullish. I don't care. I'm still bullish. This kind of broke down to the downside, retested to the downside, but I'm still bullish as long as 94 holds.
94, so about 1.5% from here.
Yeah.
Right. And so you just see this as more of a short-term correction. It's interesting, the first day of the year, and you pointed this out, I think we had you on the first day of the year, there was some huge inflows into buying dollars, and euro traded down to, I think, 113.25.
Yeah.
And, as we speak, we're basically on the high for the past few months. We're trading in the euro 115.16. So a few different dynamics,
Yeah, I
obviously.
mean, and there's just too many fundamentals. Fundamentally, I mean, the euro is, I would be selling bounces in euro. I mean, everything coming out, everything is slowing down. Germany, the whole EU. I mean, there's really no reason in my mind to not be selling bounces in euro. So that's just my opinion. Um,
Yeah, definitely seems like some of the news continues to have problems over there, unresolved. It just they aren't on the forefront this second, but definitely throughout the year, at times it'll definitely jump back in there.
And then the only other thing that I'm looking at right now is 660. My chart, I don't know where it is. Is 60. I had talked about before. I was looking for a move to 75, 76 to short it. We basically hit that this morning. So I'm looking in that area for some kind of rejection, and I don't know where this chart is. It disappeared. I don't know where this chart is.
The disappearing
Sorry,
chart. No
right?
worries. No worries. Anything, you might not have a chart in front of you of gold, but what are your thoughts on gold? I know you've looked at it. We traded up to 1,300 once or twice. We just traded back down to 1280, and then the dollar's weaker today. Gold's higher. We're trading 1290. Is this sort of the level you think that we could continue to break out? I know at one point last year you were talking about gold higher and dollar stronger, and we have had the dollar gold part.
We kind of had that correlation for a little bit there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think, I mean, right now, I was keen on selling 1,300. I still am, even though, I mean, basically for the last couple of days, all we've done is we've been just bouncing in a $20 range, basically, right? So, I still like selling bounces and gold at this point, and over 1,300 or 1,300 and over.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, the dollar tanked and gold still couldn't get over 1,300.
Yeah.
Right. So
What do you here's a question, non-technical here. You speak to a lot of different traders. What's your sense on how the market's positioned? Where are the big trades? Like, what are people really looking for right now? Where's the high conviction, if there is any?
I think, well, I think at the beginning of the year, it's really tough, um, to kind of see everybody's reallocating positions. Things are kind of crazy. But, I can't, I've heard that, from my metals guys that people are starting to get back into copper, for my industrial metals, big traders. So I know that's something of interest. And obviously crude's already bouncing some, but I don't think that rally has legs. If you look at the spread on that, the calendar spread, the front month's getting a boost, but back months aren't really joining the party. So that is what makes me think that this rally's not going to actually, get long. It's not that it can't go higher, but that it won't be here to stay. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't really heard any really high conviction trades lately. I mean, everybody's looking to.
Well, similar to what you just said as well, a lot of people, whether it be Mark Fisher, Tony Greer, Larry, also said, the first 2 weeks of the year, especially given the volatility and lack of liquidity we saw at the end of the year, but any year, the first 2 weeks of the year are kind of time to kind of take a look at what you might be developing later on, but not the best time to start getting aggressive with positions. There's whether it be tax reasons, a few different things that might be moving the markets in the short term.
Exactly.
There's a long year, 52 weeks, so the first few weeks tread lightly.
I'm sure next week I'll probably hear more chatter on what people are really looking at, and I'll probably have a better answer to that question next week.
Good. All right, well, we'll look for that then. But Tracy Shuchart, thanks for joining us as always, sharing your charts, good information. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks.